I have a confession to make. Often when I sit down to do these videos, something goes wrong and I often end up, working on the website or working on something behind the scenes. There's normally something that distracts me. This time was no different. I sat down to do an exploring expiring domains episode, and sure enough, I found a domain that I was quite interested in, and I thought, I'll look into it a bit deeper. And I was testing out a couple of new features that I've recently implemented, and I saw something that took me by surprise. So the domain I found was kingandempire.com. Now from the listings, it shows a trust flow of 24, a domain authority of 31, referring domains 166. I thought, God, that's interesting. It was actually the name itself that caught my attention at first, kingandempire.com. Now, as a patriotic British man, a domain like King and Empire really, really sings to me. So I like the domain, and I thought I'm going to look into this more deeply, just to see what it is, like whether it's been treated well over the years, as a domain like that should really. So I looked into it a bit more deeply. I wanted to see if it had been treated well, if it had got a clean content history, if, the backlinks were decent, that it hadn't been spammed and such. And I found a few things that sort of soured it a little bit. That's not what this video is about. This video is about the discrepancy that I saw. You see, Easy Expired Domains is showing a Moz domain authority of 31. So I don't show this very often, but I do double check the stats for these things. So now when you expand the domains panel, we have these useful little cards, I call them. Now in the Moz card, there's a link to open in Moz. So what I'll often do is once I've found a domain, I'll open it up in Majestic, Moz, DomDetailer and the Wayback Machine and check out the backlinks. So after having a look at the backlinks, everything looks fine. And so I opened up the domain in these other services. And this is what I saw. According to Moz's own website, checking the domain authority for free on the Moz's website, it's saying, oh no, looks like we don't have enough data for this site. So is that an issue with Easy Expired Domains? Surely the source of this info can't be wrong. It must be Easy Expired Domains. So I looked into it. I ran it through the tester that I have for this, and it refreshed it and says Moz domain authority 31. Oh, that's strange. So I went and checked with DomDetailer directly. Now these stats are pulled from DomDetailer, so I checked with it directly just in case it was my internal tools that were wrong. And DomDetailer was showing this is the bare response from the API to do with this. This is what Moz send me when I check a domain. So you can see it's checking kingandempire.com. It's checking kingandempire.com at the domain level. And PDA is the domain authority variable. And quite clearly, it's showing the domain authority of 31. What? Why is that? So we have the website, Moz's own website, saying there's no data. Moz's API is saying, well, it's domain authority 31, mate. Yeah, it's banging. So I thought, what the hell? So then I thought, well, I've got a Moz account. I'll check it on their website. Obviously, I pay them fucking loads every month. You won't believe how much I pay them every month, by the way. Them and Majestic. Holy moly. Here we are. Domain authority of 31, which, as we can see, PDA is the variable for the domain authority from the API saying 31. So Moz Pro is saying domain authority 31. The Moz API is saying domain authority 31. The free one, and we see nothing. So this goes to show that you really need to be double checking things. You can't just go by one source. And To be fair, I haven't found this with other service providers. I have seen it with Moz a few times in the recent past. I'll probably get in touch with them and just ask them why that's happening, because that can't be what they intend, surely. But yeah, if you're using other services, just be aware that certainly if they're scraping the free stats, which I know a lot of these services do, you know, they use a lot of proxies to pull the stats from this page, they could be getting incorrect information. But I pay for them. So if you want accurate stats, there's DomDetailer. Yeah, get DomDetailer. There's Domain Hunter Gatherer, obviously that uses DomDetailer. So yeah, if you're looking to find domains and you want to grade them and you want stats that are accurate, ones that aren't being pulled from this free endpoint that, as I've just shown, is not accurate for me, double check it. Check for yourself, kingandempire.com. I don't know why it's doing this. I haven't done anything funny. You can see the URL on page. You can see the domain. Well, that's that. So at least you can trust easy expired domains. You can trust DomDetailer and Domain Hunter Gatherer to be giving you the accurate results, and also giving you the ability to compare it against the Majestic stats. And talking about easy expired domains as well, you get to see whether it's got SEMrush, traffic or ranks, the Wayback Snapshots, backlinks from DomDetailer. So that's all I really wanted to show you. That's not the first time that I've come across that fairly recently, where the free Moz DA checker is showing completely incorrect data. And the worst, I mean, good for me, but the worst thing for a lot of domainers is that they're relying on the stats from this page to make their purchasing decisions. So if you're relying on a website such as expireddomains.net, and you're getting those free domain lists, and then you're running them through a free domain authority checker as like your first line of quality, you're going to be missing out on tons of domains. This one, it's not even the low domain authority domains that it's doing this to. It's a domain authority of 31, which is very, very decent. And with a trust flow of 24, that domain's got some power to it. Now, the history of the domain sort of brings the value of it into question, but that's not the point of this video. It's about relying on the stats that you've got. You really want those stats to be reliable as best you can. So that's my rant about stats and making sure that everything's correct. You need to make sure that this information is accurate if you're going to be basing your purchasing decisions on it. But I think that's all I've got to say on this matter. So I think I'm going to stop talking now. Bye.